returned. These words all true. You see, 10 years it took. 10 years for me to truly admit, 10 years for me to really understand that I was a victim. But 10 years before, I was numb. You see, those words, they haunted me every day. They would say, okay, so even if you were stolen, couldn't you have run away? Didn't you begin to give yourself freely for something in return? But yes, 10 years before, I was just numb. See, I'd be standing, walking, watching the street lights turn from red to green to yellow to red. Please, oh please, I would think to myself, let there be a green light. You would think because something inside of me wanted to go, but no. Instead, I look for the green because the cars will be coming. You see, every car for me was a chance to eat, a chance to not be beaten. Every car was a chance to rest, to allow my moonlit shift to go quicker. And then, you see, the sun would rise after far too many red lights. I realized then that the sun was no longer my friend. It hated me. It reminded me that I was no longer normal, and like a vampire, when it rose, I must disappear. But not before my pimp, my trafficker, my captor took account. You see, we'd all be lined up, one after the other, all hoping to have made the most. Who would be rewarded with eating what they wanted, with sleeping in the big girl bed instead of the floor? Who would be the prize tonight? I am numb. But I don't care. You see, I just want to get out of the sun's glare. It curses me. It taunts me. But I'm secretly lying, you see. Because when all the vampires would fall asleep, I would run to the window and I would scream out to the sun, I will not hide from you forever. And me and the sun, you see, we'd have this showdown, a staring contest. And as tears were falling down my eyes, the glare would finally get too bright for me to stare. And I would lose the showdown every morning. Eventually, I would have to close the shades and sleep, you see, because the night was thirsty and I mustn't be too tired to work. One day was all it took for me to learn the game. It was kill or be killed. It was sell or be sold. It was give or be taken. You learn to give. You see, he'd come in, he'd rip my clothes, he would proceed to rape me, and I would touch his hand and I would say, you don't have to take it, I will give it freely. And he would get up and dust himself off and he would say, she's not weak enough for me, and he'd go across the street where the pimp daddy would have girls lined up much, much younger than me. See, I was 19, but those girls, they had no hope in their eyes. I would never forget their faces. They weren't old enough to understand hope. Some of these girls, so young, their breasts hadn't even fully formed yet, and people were buying them. before it was erased clean by my oppressor. I enjoyed my daily arguments with the sun, but these girls, much, much too young. Suddenly, something inside of me wanted to scream out at these people coming to purchase them and say, no, not her, she's too young. And then this girl who should be wearing pigtails, holding a lunchbox, says, hey, baby, you want a date? So I turned away like many of you. I didn't want to feel my heart wrenching for them. It reminded me of life outside of this game. Right at this moment, my oppressor would take my arm and pull me away and say, these girls are too young for you to stand with. They bring unnecessary attention. But did they? When I saw 4, maybe 5 blue coats and badges turn the other cheek as if they meant nothing. As I'm being pulled away, I looked at them and I said, when I am free, I will come back for you. But their eyes replied, no, you won't. No one ever comes back. Numb. You see, I want to be numb. I don't want to feel my heart wrenching anymore. So now the drugs that they first gave me so they can rape me properly, I now crave to take away the feeling of living. The only thing worth living for were these drugs. Sometimes money. Neither one belonged to me, but both I slave for. But you have to be careful what you ask for, because suddenly I then became a little too numb. Suddenly I would do my drugs and I would cross my legs and I would say, you see that girl over there with the purple shirt? She looks worthy to join us today. Now I have a girl on my left and a girl on my right, and we are a trio of lies, all serving our captor, believing we're serving ourselves, still completely convinced that the disease lies in the sun. I hate the sun. I'm clouded with darkness. There is no light. Why? I argued. Why don't you kill me, son? Why don't you burn me to ashes like the vampire that I am? And see, by this time I had lost a part of myself. I had succumbed to the darkness. I became a part of the darkness. I was the darkness. It was in my soul. And this very day, my captor decided he had no more need of me and said, you will not live to breathe another night. And he proceeded to beat me and beat me and beat me until I was bleeding to death. And I cried out as I laid on the floor. And this was medically impossible because, you see, I had just had an abortion that day. And I had been hemorrhaging. And he beat me mercifully. So when my bleeding stopped, I believed. I didn't know his name. Until later, my trafficker came up to me to finish the job. And I jumped up. And I said, I just met Jesus. Where that name came from, I don't know. It was in here. And for the first time, he had nothing to say. For the first time. And it was then that I realized, you see, the power in the name of Jesus. And so, yes, it may have taken me 10 years to understand that I was a victim. It only took me one day to believe in the Son. Amen. Oh my, please excuse me, I just ripped my skirt completely on my way up here. I didn't know if I was exposed completely back here. Hopefully I'm okay. It's just the lining showing. Somehow I packed all my jewelry in a bag that's still in Washington, D.C. And I thought to myself, well, I need to put something on with color instead of wearing all black. So I'll go to the table out there. I saw necklaces. And I said, I'll buy one, but I bought one. And it didn't kind of work with my collar, so as I'm taking it off, it gets stuck around my head. Woo, right? And I said, oh my gosh, Jesus, look, it's a princess crown. Yay! And the Lord's like, great, wear it. I'm like, no, this is gonna be streaming live. Get it off, Jesus. A few ladies came in the green room